Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Doing a live today, trying to be back, being consistent, but I won't be overly long because I still got to do some winter prep because didn't get everything done. My hand is still inflamed, but much better than before. Good morning, badass. Good morning, Psalm, and anybody else in the bushes. Just talking generals, but we all know what happened in Jamaica. We're still scrambling around, have not heard from some family. So I don't know all the updates. My eyes itchy, sorry. That's the weather change. The air is dry. Haven't heard from many family. Don't know what's going on. Um, don't have any updates about property damage. So we're kind of flying in the dark right now. We're supposed to be going down for a funeral for the end of November, because that's how it is in Jamaica. Usually hold the body for a longer time than over here. Good morning, Tammy. So that all the international people can get, sorry, my eyes, it really itchy, guys. So people can get over there, and it's looking really bad. Oh, my family, I have family all over, but sorry, my eye. There's some family near Montego Bay, which is in an area called Trelawney, around Trelawney area, other little sub areas, but I haven't heard from them. I have some family in Kingston. I heard from them 2 days ago, so they're okay because they had when she messaged me back, she said she had just gotten power, water, and everything kind of back. So part of the communication gap is that the no phone lines. I know that they said Starlink is offering free service, but they would have to know what Starlink is. Some of these people are older and don't know all this stuff to access that. But Starlink is offering so people can connect. No water, no power. Who knows if their phone is even charged, because I don't know if they have backup battery packs and so forth. So I have no idea what's happening with this funeral. At this point, we didn't book our tickets yet. So, I don't think we should go. I don't know if they can hold and delay, but if they can't, they're going to have to go ahead, because if the roads aren't clear, we can't get around. Certain hotels may be up and running, but the energy is not going to really be, I don't know. And the house, I know for sure there's been some damage, but I haven't gotten any information besides that. They happen to have gotten through to somebody else, and now they can't connect. So it's very very difficult because we don't have any information. But yeah, they're near Montego Bay. There's some family near Montego Bay, Trelawney. They got hit very hard. I'm watching the Maroons in Jamaica. I follow them on Instagram. Chief Curry, he was able to post a lot because they have Starlink, because the Maroons are independent. They're not supported by the government. They don't get support by all the help and aid that's going to be going down. I don't really think they're going to get any of it. So they have to they have their own GoFundMe and their own avenues to get their own financial aid. All of their roofs in their area are all gone. Severe damage, property damage, furniture damage. It's really bad. Some of the new footage I'm seeing, it's really bad. People don't have anywhere to sleep. Everything is ruined. The water is probably dirty and contaminated. You're risking parasites and bacteria. It's completely unusable. So everyone has a lot to say about who should donate and who should this, and people have the nerve in one chat, oh, all these celebrities should do this, that, Jamaican celebrities. You don't know what they're doing, first of all, and if they donated a lot of money, it's not going to go very far. People don't have the understanding that the money that they're going to send is not even going to go very far. This is going to require significant finances, and it's going to be a several years project to rebuild some of the infrastructure, because the roads were washed away. Some of these areas don't have any other roads. So there won't be any movement in and out in some of those areas until they can bring heavy machinery to redo the roads. The soil under the roads washed away. Literally, you can't even walk. There's one lady was showing the road collapse off of the hillside, the mountainside. They can't even walk because you're just going to be sliding down into the abyss. There's no infrastructure. some people are still underwater, that the water has not receded. So some of the footage of, we're not even getting the full footage. Celebrities are in, on boots on the ground, working with local charities. But you still have to be mindful, because I remember Haiti when they had the earthquake, and all this stuff and all this money and all this aid and all these concerts to send money down there. And then where's the money? It's locked in a fund. It didn't really get to the people. So if people are kind of hanging back and watching a bit, I'm not really, don't judge, because they're waiting to see which groups are going to really be helping, what is going to happen before they start giving money to these grassroots companies, and they don't know if they're really helping the people. I heard that the prime minister had an insurance policy for natural disasters for the country. The airport's open again. Even that was a whole the tourists and all the back and forth with the tourists, and the negative fighting back and forth between the Jamaicans and the tourists. It was just it's just a very upsetting. It's very upsetting. Some people just don't really get it, and they're not gonna get it. I guess they didn't have an understanding of what a category 5 could be. And from what I saw on the news, it wasn't even a category 5. If they could have said it's a category 7, they would have, but there's no 7, because it was so beyond that it's not even a category 5. That's just the highest they can say, but it was probably a category 7. Flatbridge was completely underwater, so nobody can cross there. Nobody can cross there either. I don't even know where people are sleeping. Probably on the roof. There's no roof. Maybe they're sleeping on top of, I don't know where they are. Some people's houses are full of mud. Mud. Like water can cut through landscape like a knife. Like just things are completely ruined. Any food that you may have had, unless it was packaged properly to keep water out, and I don't know if they have these kind of packaging and buckets and stuff sealed, a lot of that stuff is ruined. What's really disheartening and sad, I forgot to put my mic in. Sorry guys, let me get my mic. But what was sad was some of the farmers, but give me 1 second, because I don't have my mic on. This is why I'm sure you guys can hear me, but let me put my mic on 1 quick second. Okay. So let's put it in the right spot. A lot of farmers lost a lot of animals. I'm talking chickens. Morning, you unbiased, and food forest. Morning. I don't know if I acknowledge you guys. Goats drowned. It's unfortunate that some of the people maybe they didn't have time. I don't know, but part of prepping is to get your animals to higher ground, because most of the animals were tied up, so they couldn't even run if they could. They were just stuck there. A lot of goats were drowned. Chickens. I'm talking lots of people who have private little farms and big drowned. And now it's from what they said, it was just stinking. So I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to probably burn everything, because they can't bury anything. They have to burn it, because that's going to cause sickness and disease, and you don't want fly. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening. The mosquitoes are through the roof now, because all this water, like, it breeds other problems and sanitary problems. Oh my goodness. A couple of farmers went out and chopped all the limbs off of there. One guy saw with his banana plants, chopped all the limbs off, and almost all of his trees or banana plants are fine. I guess those limbs weren't making this sway in the wind. He just did something. He said, I'm going to try it and see if it worked, and it worked. So his plants are okay. Some of the farmers, their plants are ruined. A couple of major hydroponic businesses, they're okay. They took apart most of their equipment. They spent days taking apart solar panels, uninstalling stuff, because the last Hurricane Beryl, they didn't, and it was a milder hurricane, and things were all over the place. So when he checked it, he did a video. It was pretty much, he can have it back up and running in 24 hours. All of his seedlings he put on the ground in house and in warehouse and storage rooms. So all of those seedlings can be put in the hydroponics, and they can be up and running in 20 days. He'll have some harvest. So he's worrying about, feeding the community. So that's going to be fine. but the actual in-ground farmers, um, a lot of the plants are ruined, obviously. I don't know if they did an early harvest or that's millions of dollars. But even my family, we have a lot of cows. Don't know where if they made it, if they were on higher ground. Some of them just had calves. This is a lot of money and earnings when your animals are gone. That's your milk source. That's cheese. That's dairy. Butter. That's you make things from scratch. That's your meat. It's a lot of money lost for people who are trying to be independent. But we're gonna get through it. But just be mindful. There's a lot of even cherries. I think there's one in Miami that's sending stuff over. They packed up care boxes and so forth. There's a lot of stuff happening. People going to be on the ground. The Maroons, I know they had that water generator from the Moses Foundation, and they took apart the some of the components, but they have two, I don't know, let's say 25-ton shipping containers, and they both tipped over. If that weight of a shipping container can be tipped over on its side, this is the magnitude of that wind. So the Moses Foundation is heading back, if they're not there already right now, to recalibrate and reset up everything again so that they can have clean water. But yeah, this is really, really devastating. Anchoring down means everything everything. The guy he put down everything. Some people don't like your gas tanks, your people's vehicles, they were just on the road, they're gone. You had to have had things in a building, otherwise, that was it. Windows. It was Some people didn't really have things to like board off the windows and the doors so that they could keep the water out. Um so it was just the door itself, and water got through, mud got through. Everything is good morning, Cece, is ruined. And it's not just Jamaica. I believe Haiti had some losses of life. Other places had some damage. It's affecting other nations as well, but I guess Jamaica got the brunt of it. And there's also conspiracies about, weather manipulation and so forth. I don't know, but they are showing some suspicious correlations, suspicious correlations between putting in for it to become a smart city and a natural disaster happening. And they're, Maui and certain countries, they have a list of more than 5. So it looks suspicious. And St. Elizabeth is where they're planning to do this new city in Jamaica. And St. Elizabeth is totally decimated. Does it ever get cold down there? Yes, it does. Some areas of Jamaica do get cold. Not Toronto cold, but yeah, they go get cold. Hey, Miss V. Yeah, it does get cold in some areas. And yeah, especially when they're in the hills and in certain areas. Yes. So it's going to be difficult. The problem is like any natural disaster, getting access to certain areas and certain people that need the help the most. As you guys saw in the news, the hospitals are completely ruined, no roof, flooded. People are already in there who are not doing well, and this is not helping. Compromised individuals who are already sick. Healthcare is going to be deferred. People who had, special testing and surgeries and so forth are going to have to. I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest. Schools are ruined. It's wow. And I think most of us over here away from Jamaica have not heard from everybody as yet. So we're just waiting. Keep them in your prayers. It's no different than storms in other places where it's just you're waiting for help. And help has arrived, but it's not going to reach where it needs to reach right away unless they have helicopters or something. It's very difficult with the roads being blocked with power lines, poles, and trees. And unless you have a chainsaw, one guy was chopping manually. That's going to take you hours and days because, the military is going around. They have chainsaws. Like just having the tools that you need to remove the trees and the manpower to lift it. People don't mind working, but it's very difficult. It's very tedious. I knew an old fellow that had a house anchored so that when the river flooded, his house stayed. Yep. You have to build your houses in such a way. There's a couple of people on the news that They anchored their roof, but while the storm was going on, they could see that it was lifting and the screws and bolts were not holding it down, and they went up. Don't recommend that, but they went up during the storm. Oh, I just saw a new thing on StreamYard. Sorry, I got distracted. You can show it on the screen. Oh no, I have to pay for that. It's something that I thought was a new feature. Okay, it lets me do that, but I thought it shows the whole thing on the stage. And he had to go back up there and anchor it. That's why he has his roof. That's the only reason why he has his roof, is that he went up during the storm to re-anchor everything so that the water wouldn't damage it. Because once your house is water damaged, everything is spoiled, and the mold and stuff. It's you need somewhere to sleep. People just want a place to sleep. Good morning, G Mama. Just want a place to sleep. So this is this has been the storm of the century, I would have to say. The decade, I don't know, maybe the century. We haven't had this much damage since Gilbert. That was the worst storm in history. And this takes the cake. So just, keep them in your prayers. I know a lot of people, Jamaicans, are in New York and in Florida. So those are the two hubs. I know a lot of people, and even Texas too. A lot of Jamaicans in Texas, they have some hubs for donations that are going to be shipped in containers. I know over here they're doing stuff, but some of the stuff that they're doing is focused on particular regions in Jamaica, which I guess makes sense. But St. Elizabeth. But if you're not from there, there may be some other groups that are focusing on other areas. So, hey, Renaissance Grandma, keep them in your prayers, guys, because it's already a very impoverished. And the fighting online and social media had to come off because it was just so disgusting. It was really upsetting me. Tourists complaining and being ungrateful. Just people are just tone deaf. When people are losing everything to their name, and then you just hear these complaints. It's like sometimes you gotta just shut it up. There's a time and place that wasn't the time and place, because ultimately you get to go home to what you have. It may have cost you more to stay because of the politics of the hotels and all that stuff. I'm not saying I agree with that stuff, but sometimes social media is not meant for those kind of things. It just has a bad look to it. And now there's a war going on back and forth, and now the Americans are upset with the Jamaicans, and then because they said Black Americans, and now they're upset with the Jamaicans. Jamaicans are gonna talk trash. I'm gonna tell you that right now. When we feel like you've insulted us as a people, the Jamaicans across the globe are gonna start talking smack, and that's what happened. We're gonna talk smack, because I don't know who you think you are to be saying stuff like that when they're trying to survive the storm, and you're worrying about what kind of food you're getting, and we didn't get this and we didn't get that. And listen here, throwing plates at the staff, throwing water in staff's face. A lot of the facts are being misconstrued as if we're not intelligent enough to know that it's not everybody, it's some, but the some make it look bad for everybody, if that makes sense. So people always preface, it's not everybody, but the some that it is, we say all of you as a general, because we're mad, we're just upset. But we know it's not all of you. If it doesn't fit, if it doesn't apply, let it by. Let it go by. But there's some people taking it personally. But no, some of the Americans were very good and very nice and very, very kind and understanding. And the ones that were not were extremely not. And when you see videos of people throwing plates at the and smashing plates and stuff, I'm sorry, everyone's gonna get riled up. All the Jamaicans are gonna get riled up because you don't behave like that. Some of the politics with leaving Jamaica, some people don't understand that there was an opening for people to leave, but the airlines, not Jamaica now, the airlines were charging like $1,000 for a flight. But I know someone who's been in that situation before. That's what happens. After the fact, when the dust settles, usually the government gets involved for companies that were monopolizing and inflating prices to benefit during a tragic time. Usually nowadays they get involved after and it's settled. But during the time, it's not the time to be arguing back and forth. So thousands of dollars for flights just to get out. Some people left. Some people didn't want to leave. And then the hotel was charging them to stay there during the storm. But who's going to pay the staff that were still there to help you through the situation? And then they were offered a shelter for free, but they didn't want to go to the shelter. So some of the decisions when the announcements were made, they thought they were going to wait it out and then fly out at the last minute. Um, the airport closed earlier than people anticipated, but you can't anticipate when they're going to close if they have to factor in at the airport getting themselves prepared and protecting equipment and bolting down stuff and all the things that they had to do to minimize the damage, which was still not minimal. So you can't make plans of when you're going to leave. Okay, the sky was clear, the weather was clear. People are like, well, the sky is clear, but they need time to prepare for the impact when it hits, especially Montego Bay. It was coming directly to them, and the airport is right on the coast. It's really right next to the water. You're landing on the plane and you're right next to the ocean if you've been there before. So they had to, get themselves prepared, and they didn't factor that in and thought they could just fly out on a Saturday when they should have flew out prior to that, and then file your travel insurance claims and whatever else after. So the people who got out, but the people who didn't get out, they, yeah, you had to pay $1,000 to fly out. That's not Jamaica, that's the airlines. Some airlines decided to jack up the prices or charge you to book a special, another flight, however they justify it. That's nothing to do with me. But I know one guy in Toronto, a comedian guy, he posted, he's getting out. I think he got out yesterday, and he was thanking WestJet and American Express and other things because he had to deal with them, because to assist him while he had to stay longer, he thanked the hotel. He said he never wants to live through that ever again. It was really scary, but he's coming back. And then I guess the airlines, you have to file a claim and so forth and try to, recover some of your expenses. But during the time, some of the comments were just in bad taste. There's no justifying that. There's nothing you can say that's going to convince me otherwise. It was in bad taste. That's the long and short of it. Some people treat people that work in the service industry like they have to do this and you have to do that and you have to make sure I'm good and you have to. Be careful when you start to put those demands on people who are already being pushed to the edge and their own families are of a concern and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do, and then you're getting a little bit too entitled, for my opinion. Yeah, I had a friend that had something similar happen, not in Jamaica but somewhere else, and she was traveling with her family, and to get out of the place cost them about an extra $3,000 because it was her husband and her child. So they had to pay for 3 seats, and it costs a lot of money to get out. That's the corruption in the travel industry, but you can't take it out on, and then people just didn't understand that some hotels were rationing things because they knew that they weren't going to get any more supplies because of where they're located and so forth, and they were getting a bigger impact. Some people, let me sip some water. 1 second. I'm trying to put the camera off and I had the camera on. That's what they do. Unfortunately, she had to pay a lot of money and to get out of the situation and to get back home in time. I know somebody right now who's stuck there. He went down for a funeral, which is what I'm supposed to be doing as well. And he had to go to his funeral because it's his father. Like, you're not gonna not go. And he's stuck there. And then you have to also call your employer, like you're literally stuck there. So now you take extra time off and maybe unpaid leave or whatever you have to do because you can't get back. I haven't even heard in the chat that he's back yet. Him and his wife. I think his kids, I don't know if his kids came with them, his grown kids. But he was stuck there. And there's nothing worse than, but back to the hotels. Some people, they knew they didn't have a lot of supply, so they had to try to ration it out because they have to assume that they're not going to get any supplies for a certain amount of time, and they have to ration out the foods to stretch. And I guess people have never been in that situation of rationing, and then the people that were complaining, that's why you shouldn't go on the internet. and say stuff, because it's just gonna go worse and worse and worse. So the people that were complaining, the first thing Jamaicans look at is how fat you are. That's why you won't catch me on there complaining about food, because I know I'm thickums, and they're gonna just go right to that, like, and start talking about big back and all kind of stuff. And that's exactly what happened. And it went to personal insults, because they're gonna go for the jugular, and then back and forth. But like, just be quiet. And then videos of women, harassing the staff, like, with these bag lunches, and people don't have nothing to eat. So take the bag lunch and just shut up. It's just like, and then you see them on the footage, like, you're a big bag. Like, don't do that, because all you're gonna do is get the whole of everybody just now, insulting, because that's what they do. They start to feel defensive. It says boom. So that's exactly what happened. And the back and forth and the back and forth. And now Jamaicans live in shacks and all these insults. I'm like, okay, let me come up this chat, because it's just like, it's getting hostile. And we're not going to donate to their anything to do with them. Let them rot. Listen, Jamaicans aren't beggy people. So that threat doesn't mean nothing to nobody, because we don't get support from the government anyways. So it doesn't mean anything to us. We don't get food stamps. We don't get EBT. We don't get none of that. There's no FEMA. There's none of that. There's never been none of that. So when you start throwing those insults, it's like, it's just going so bad now. There's a whole social media war. I guess it's on TikTok, because I don't watch TikTok, but I'm seeing it on YouTube now. And just the insults back and forth, back and forth. It's, if you're a tourist and there's a storm that's coming, just pay the money and get out, because you're not the priority and should not be the priority when they're going through that kind of thing. They have to protect the building. They got to protect equipment. They got to protect the staff. They got to protect, all kind of things that they're worrying about to make sure that the place is safe. Things flying in the air, people getting injured, gas and all these things that are, could cause fires. Like, you're worrying about all these things, and then people are crying about they didn't get X, Y, and Z. Listen, let's not do that. Let's have, not be tone deaf. It's not good for anybody. And then it's just riling up animosity and underlying issues that have kind of been dormant, and just starting it all over again. Let's just be quiet. It's okay just to be quiet. And it's also, don't post everything on social media. Just don't say nothing. Just leave it alone. Don't try to rile up people. Whoops, I pressed the camera accent. Don't rile up people. It's not good. Because no one's gonna filter themselves. They're gonna start talking smack, and it's just not good. People can't say what your mindset is in when everyone else is panicking. Not everyone who says I'm ready can actually nope, they can't handle it. And escape route should have been, yes. I don't think people understood what a category 5 is. I don't think they were taking it seriously, and this is probably what happened, and they ended up there. I don't get how these people. Yeah, I guess they expected to have a 5-star experience from what they're paying, and then they're paying the hotel that was still charging them. But that's a separate issue from what's happening. I think the focus right now should have been just the hurricane, and you can always, file a complaint with these companies and get that. I'm telling you, stay calm, cool, and collected, because once you start getting riled up with the crowd, and everyone's getting riled up, my friend who's stuck there has his own property, so he's probably, it's easier to be with your own family with no food and no water, let's say, than to be with all these other people. There was 25,000 tourists, other people, and everybody wants to worry about themselves and me. It's not, yeah, you're no good to anybody if you're hurt. And part of the problem too is some of the people they thought they were not being rude, and they're not being difficult tourists, and they're like, oh, we weren't doing that, we were helping the people. Them, yeah, but your tone was obnoxious. Like, your tone was condescending. I don't think, like, I heard one lady, and it's like they're questioning the guy as if they're stupid. Like, they go through hurricanes every year. Yes, this is a more powerful hurricane, but they have a certain protocol they have to follow They can't do any more than what they're doing, but they're going to do what they usually do. And everybody wants to go up to the upper story. There is no room. He goes, it's full. So the rest of the people have to stay on the main floor. What if it floods? What if it floods? It's not going to flood because they've already factored certain things in. And well, why did you board up the windows, board up the doors, board up the doors? I think you guys saw that video. He's like, because it's glass. And so that the glass doesn't blow and projectile. Like, it's not just water. You don't board up. He goes to them. You don't board up a door or windows for water. You board it up to protect the glass. Because that can cause more problems for people when there's broken glass all over the place and you're walking barefoot or whatever and you're getting injured, or it's flying in people and injuring people. Like, it's like we do this. And if you don't know what you're doing and you don't understand what they're doing, then maybe you should have left. You should have left. It's just the condescendingness. Oh, I'm just asking. Sometimes that is the timing of your questions is condescending. He don't have time to sit here and keep answering. All he has to do is run around and get the place secured, because the last thing they need is a tourist getting injured. Then there are some people asking, why can't we go in the ocean and swim? If it was me, let them go swim. Let them go swim and never see them again. Let them go missing. Because if you're going to ask me a dumb question like that, why can't we go into the ocean? And Melissa is coming with full force, and you want to go swim in the pool and in the ocean. Why can't we go swimming? I would have let them go swimming. Because at that point, I would have gotten fed up. Yep, go into the pool. No problem. Here's the life jacket. You're on your own. Because some of the questions were just so ridiculous. Like, are you dumb? Are you dumb? There is a hurricane that originates from the ocean, from the sea, coming in to impact the island. And then you want to go swimming. If you're that dumb, then go swimming. Please, go ahead. That's one less naga in my ear. Go into the ocean. Here's your life jacket. You're on your own. Like, I don't understand this. But anyways, the people are going over. The charities are going over. A lot of the celebrities are already over there. Some U.S. celebrities that have strong ties to Jamaica and are even Jamaican themselves or married to a Jamaican, they're getting things organized and they're going to be heading over there, because everyone's going to have to focus on a particular region, I guess probably where they're from, because if they don't, everyone's not going to get serviced. People don't want to give to the government website because it's not going to reach down to the people that really need it. They're not going to focus on some of those smaller towns and smaller areas. So everyone's going to be just doing their part and going around to different areas. It's very important. Like, the prepping that we're doing over here for ourselves, that same level of prepping has to be done in Jamaica. But the problem is the expense. Whatever we pay for something here, it's more expensive over there. The only thing that they've offered, which is not enough in my opinion, is that the Jamaican government has offered for 30 days shipments with no duties and no taxes for 30 days. That's not enough time. You're going to need at least 90 days to maybe 3-4 months. Because by the time we get to pack a barrel here and ship it, by the time that it actually arrives in Jamaica to go through the clearance process, I don't think we can get it in 30 days. Maybe Miami can, because they have, faster shipments to Jamaica and New York. But from over here, we're going to need more than 30 days. So we're trying to get stuff over there. But at the same time, we haven't heard from the family. We don't even know if the roads are open, if it's going to even get to them. So we're going to pack it up and then we'll ship it once we get confirmation that we can get something to them. I saw one person show a video from Negril, and he mentioned a town that my aunt's in. So I was watching his video. He showed the roadway was cleared up, but I don't know if the road going into the town itself has been cleared up. And some of those areas are very congested. It's built very close together. The roads are not maintained, again, because the city does not take care of those things. The roads are more potholes than road. Have you ever driven on the road that has more potholes than actual road? You can't even drive. You have to just roll so slowly so you can go in and out of the potholes without damaging your rims or your tires or your axles till you get to the main road. Nothing is maintained. You have to do everything yourself. It's a very difficult place to live, but at the same time, there's benefits because there is no debt. Like, you own your land, you own your home. There really is no mortgage unless you're buying a development from a developer. You're not paying a mortgage. So everything is, there's no debt, but it's hard to build wealth when you're in a particular class of people. So that part is difficult. Water and airborne illnesses can run. Yep. And that's exactly what's happening. The water is exposing people to, I think it's, someone said it was a roundworm or some kind of worms that you can get. And a lot of people don't realize, even some older Jamaicans that were here that were in the hospital, they had to end up getting some medication. And then the nurse, who's Caribbean, understood. She goes, a lot of times we would run around barefoot, and they still do in Jamaica or wherever you're from, and you're exposed to water. Dirty water could be contaminated, and you have parasites in your system, and it just sits there dormant. You don't even realize it. And they were testing for certain things with this person, and they, had to treat her for this parasite because you're exposed to dirty water. You're running around barefoot. You're, the muddy water, that this, that. You can get exposed to things, and that's exactly what's happening there. The mosquitoes. Yep, Sam, the mosquitoes. They said they're asking for bug repellent. Yes, you need bug repellent, but you need whatever you need to stop the mosquitoes from breeding. So there needs to be another level of preparedness from the people and those who are going to help. They need to bring those special liquids to put in the water to kind of keep, the eggs from hatching from the mosquitoes. It's a problem. People had water. They have their water tanks, but it blew off with their roof. So those water tanks are gone. And, good luck finding the tank and getting that water back, unless you had your name on it. Like, if it's on someone else's property, good luck with that. It's finders keepers now. That's how they behave sometimes. So malaria, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens after that are concerning. So clean water, a clean place to live, and just hygiene, it's very difficult. People basically they have no change of clothes, they can't bathe. There's no place dry to sleep. There's all these other problems. There's no food. I'm not too sure. And I don't know how desperate, people are going to be, that if anybody does have any living livestock, if they're going to be victims to robbery and looting. Yeah, so we have tanks at our house, almost like mini swimming pools, and that's what holds our water. One of them is for drinking water only. Another one, it was for like sewage, like toilets, sinks, that kind of thing. And we had another one for livestock. And then there's a third one that was kind of cracked, but I think it was repaired. That is an extra water, and we boil the water, but I don't know how that place is damaged. I know it's damaged, but I don't know what's damaged to even say. I know we have an outdoor kitchen that my uncle built. He had it was like a old fashioned kitchen. There's no stove. It's just like you light a fire and it's charcoal. So you can boil water in there. But now that I'm thinking about it, like a lot of the preps that I have here, I'm gonna have to make sure that they have them down there. So that's like chlorine tablets, water filtration, or purification tablets as well. Those two things are going to have to be there. My aunt's house, I don't know if they have the tanks. I don't know what's going on over there. It's kind of hard to say. And I told her to plant a garden, but I don't know if she was doing that. But just to get people to drop their seeds again, start back growing, because in 30 days you can have a harvest of leafy greens. I know they have chickens over there at her place. I don't know if they survived, because at least you could have eggs and so forth. But we're going to have to, once we hear back from her, get some things put in the barrel for preparedness. Battery packs for cell phones, so that they have battery packs. I'm not really keen on sending a generator down there, because I don't think would know how to use it. We need some more younger people who can kind of, be in charge of that. I don't think she's going to know how to use it, solar panels and all that kind of stuff. Um, we would need to offer something else like propane gas and other things to kind of help her. But I don't, I have to ask her, but I don't think she would be able to figure those things out to help her be independent. That way she can have lighting and, the fans and so forth. But the water purification tablets, canned food, and a way to cook that doesn't require the gas stove, just an open fire or something like that, where she can, or charcoal that she can cook and they can eat something. But then again, you got to be careful when you're cooking, because if people smell food, you know, and you don't have enough to share with everybody, it can be very difficult. So eating cold food right now seems to be very popular. Rockets, something like that. Yeah, rocket stove or something like that to get those things down there while they have the free, the no duty and no tax. They should have that more often than they don't. And that's part of the problem why people can't ship humanitarianly to Jamaica. There's always some kind of blockage. Like, it's just always a blockage. The political, it's just ridiculous. Allow people to ship things so that their family doesn't have to beg, borrow, and steal. And the 30 days is not going to be enough. I can tell you that right now. So I'm going to just pack up some stuff. I don't know if they have enough candles. I'm going to get some bottles of the what you call it? The lantern fuel for those I don't know if she still has lanterns. Even that, we never got rid of ours, but those kind of old-fashioned things, it's like they didn't keep them, and you need to go back to some of those things so you have them on hand in case the power goes out. And the power is going to go indefinitely, because some of those poles are completely destroyed. They're going to have to reinstall all of these poles, and they can't reinstall them until the roadways are cleared and or even rebuilt, because some areas there is no road. It's literally a mudslide. So people might be left for weeks and months without power based on what I've been seeing so far. And the places that are appealing to the new smart city is St. Elizabeth. That was a new spot that they announced in the summertime for the new major city in Jamaica. If you don't know already, there's 2 more airports that have been added. One is already in operation, and another one, I think they're going to open up soon. Smaller airports, direct flights to and from other places. So there's a huge expansion in Jamaica right now. So when you recall the Hawaii incident, there's a lot of similarities to what happened over there to what's happening right now. There's a lot of infrastructure being built in particular areas. So those areas will probably get support right away, especially when they want to now reopen those other airports. A lot of people are telling everyone, don't sell your land. And I agree, don't sell your land, keep your land. And there's a lot of land for sale, because I'm actually looking, because when we sell the family property, I'm looking for something near to one of those other airports, because that way, coming in and out would be easier. There's going to be good roads. There's going to be a lot of shops and stores and infrastructure, and you can still be kind of in the country, but not in the country, kind of near the city. So that's what I'm thinking, and I'm sure other people and foreign investors are thinking as well. So just, keep your eyes open. I wonder if that might cause the people to uprise against whoever's in charge so that they can continue to receive the human. I'm not sure. I just know that even the humanitarian aid, even when it came to, I saw a documentary not too long ago, but they were even going back into Flint, Michigan, when they had that whole water crisis, and they found hundreds and thousands of cases of water in schools and in storage areas that never reached the people. They were just hoarding up all the humanitarian aid, and it didn't reach the people. The same things happened in Haiti. The same thing happened, I think, even Katrina. Like, the aid doesn't reach the people. It's like, I don't know if they don't want to share or they want to control who gets. I don't know what's going on. But when you start to look at all of the natural disasters or tragic events, and you start to look at the trickling down of aid, it stops at a certain point, and the ones who are most vulnerable don't seem to be getting the basic aid. You guys, we talked about Jackson, Mississippi, and the water crisis there. People have to still pay the water bill, but they ain't got no clean water. They have to go buy water. Something's not, the math ain't mathing. So why haven't you gotten proper water so that these people can have clean water? It's a basic human right. They're charging them for water and feel no ways about charging them for water that they can't drink. Like, they can't bathe in it. Like, make it make sense. So you can see from multiple examples I even just mentioned that the aid doesn't reach the people who really need it. Hawaii, main point, some of it was intentional sabotage in Hawaii. It's ridiculous. It's not the first time, and it's not the last time. So there are individuals who just don't want to go through those channels. They'll go to the grassroots channels because they're going to go on the ground and go and get to the people that need it. Oh, activated charcoal for sure. The rocket stove, stuff like that, can make made anywhere on a planter using dozen of bricks fueled by junk mail. Yep, twigs, sticks, anything like that. Um, Lots of bricks. Yeah, I think she has bricks at her, but that activated charcoal for sure. Um, Renaissance saying the same thing happened in Puerto Rico. Yes, I forgot about Puerto Rico. They found the warehouse full of water. So that's why, like, even I kind of, everyone's jumping because you feel like you do want to do something because it's your people, and they're all like, okay, we're gonna, but I'm just holding back. I'm like, gosh, we've seen this before. Exactly. And I forgot about Puerto Rico. They had a horrible storm. And then why is the water being hoarded up? Water has an expiry date. You can't keep it forever. So what is the benefit of keeping it? Let the people have the water. So I'm not really keen on running to go and donate right now. I'm kind of waiting and seeing what's happening. The government's already doing stuff, and other people who are already in the ground are doing stuff. I'm letting them have some time to kind of settle, figure out the best action plan, figure out the most, economical way to use the money and the resources to get to the people, making sure that there's no corruption and there's some accountability and transparency before, you just jump on and start, sending money. But I know most people are combining with food for the poor in Jamaica. It's already been working in Jamaica anyways, and that's probably one of the good grassroots groups to help the people. But other than that, I'm kind of hanging back just for a few more days to see what's going on. They did that in Puerto Rico after Maria passed through too. All the stuff was just stored up by the docks while my friend was carrying a jug out to find. My goodness, that's what I'm saying. So where's all this humanitarian aid going? Why doesn't it get to the? I don't understand why water. It's not like, okay, even when was it the Carolinas when you guys had that storm recently last year? Was it the Carolinas? Yes, give me the right information, but I think it was the Carolinas, either north or south, where there was the storms and the cold came, and they were dropping off generators, and then they were going missing and getting stolen. These generators that were assigned to certain people so that they could at least keep warm, and the aid just seems to just go missing. It just goes missing. So that's why people just kind of are not, at this point, we're not optimistic. We all know holding that water was, of course, it was intentional. But what I'm saying is, what's the benefit? I'm holding water. It's going to expire. Like, I'm of the mindset, like, food and water, I don't really hoard food and water. I'm the kind of person that's like, it's going to go in one hole and out the other hole. So I'm not going to fight over food. Well, as of right now, if we're all in a desperate situation, that's a different conversation. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everyday regular life where you can get food, you can get things to eat, you can get drinks. You may not be the richest person in the world, but your needs are met. I'm not going to fight over food. If that's not the situation and we're in a dire situation, I'm going to play dumb and hide my food and hide my water. But even then, am I going to fight over it? In the grand scheme, probably not. But I'm going to hide it so that I can protect what I have so that we have food and water to eat. And speaking of which, I'm going to go today and restock my water because my water is low. I'm going to restock my water I have enough for a few weeks and months. Let's not get distracted. I'm going to help my family and my people in Jamaica, yes, but don't get distracted because still have to live right here where we're living. And there's instability, there's water issues here, safe drinking water, and all these other things that we're dealing with. That I'm like, just don't get distracted. We got to keep on your plan, your game plan. Otherwise, you're going to get caught off guard here. Because if I have any power outages here, any kind of ice storm here, I have to be prepared because ain't nobody coming to rescue you. I'm telling you, you have to have a way to heat yourself, keep your pipes from freezing. I know where to turn off the main water in the house so that the water can't even get in, so that it'll stay in the street, and let them deal with it until it's fixed and all that kind of stuff. I'm not even gonna I'm shutting it all down. I'm shutting it all down. A simple tarp and cooking pot goes a long ways. A few goats for milk. Yep, you've always said that, and you're right. And the people that I'm watching, they lost their goats. They had that. That's how they were living their life, and the goats drowned. And it's like, how do you rebuild and restart? I wish that they, like, note to self, if something were to happen to me right now, I would probably have to carry my chickens into a bathroom and let them dirty up the bathroom until I get them back outside. Like, I don't think I could risk my animals. And that's why I'm very concerned, because we have the cows in Jamaica. And it's in limbo because the person's died. Somebody else was taking care of the cows for us. And people know the person died and they maybe want to steal. And now the storm. And people just get a bad mindset where it's like they don't want you to have if they can't have, even though they haven't put any time or effort into having, and you have put time and effort into buying cows, breeding them, having, that generate income, milking and making dairy products and so forth. You've done something. But because they don't want you to have, they don't care about the story behind it, how hard you work. They don't want you to have if they can't have. It's a very nasty attitude that sometimes people have, and it's very prevalent in the Caribbean. Some water. Don't forget who was in don't forget who was in charge and really didn't like Puerto Rico. Didn't like the Puerto Ricans. So a lot of the aid that people are asking for, like, it's sad because everyone in Jamaica is like, help us, help, we need help. And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, they can come and help you. The foreign aid can come and help you, but they're not really going to help you. And the aid's not going to reach those who need it. And if it does reach people that need it, they definitely want something. So the message went out from before the storm: do not sell your land, because right now it's very appealing, and people want to develop Jamaica and make these modern cities down and these smart cities that is happening in all the other places that they mentioned that also had a natural disaster right after they made the announcement. Well, not right after, but after they made the announcement of the intention by 2030, what the 2030 plan is. And now there's a natural disaster to get all the original people off and all the indigenous people off and all that, and sell it to foreign investors. There's a lot going on. Just keep your eyes open because it's not as simple. And also the weather modification, it's a little bit too convenient and too suspicious. I'm not saying anything is that. It's just suspicious is all I can say, because there's never going to be any evidence. It's all just rhetoric. We'll never have proper evidence unless somebody is a whistleblower, but it's very suspicious. Yep. Listen, I have some tarps in the backyard right now. They're not all in good condition, but I'm going to swap out the one that's on the chicken coop, and I use it for shade. But now that it's not summer, I'm going to put the clear one on just to add an extra barrier. But yep, you need to have tarps. You need to have tarps. You need to have things that can seal the tarp, spray the tarp, make it more waterproof. Just even Ziploc bags, because from what I'm seeing, just being able to put things in a Ziploc bag, like if they had their flour and their baking powder and stuff in Ziploc bags, that could have preserved it from getting damaged from the water. Having things like, even right now, I have my baking soda in a 5-gallon bucket. I buy the 50-pound bag. I have my laundry soap in a 5-gallon bucket because when my basement flooded twice over two, we had torrential downpours. When I say flood, it didn't flood, but there was some water, and the water touched the box of laundry detergent, and then that was it. So now I don't keep my laundry detergent and certain things in the boxes that they came in. They're in a 5-gallon bucket or a 3-gallon bucket, and they're put in the basement, so that will protect it from any water damage, especially if the water is not clean water. It could be, you don't know what it is sometimes. So that's excellent advice. Tarps and Ziploc bags of various sizes and buckets. And don't keep your flour in the bag that it came in. You need to transfer it to a Ziploc bag, seal it shut, then put that bag in the bucket, label them, whatever you need to do. If you want to vacuum seal it, then fine, you can do all that. But good morning, Juicing with Jay. Hold on, now you get me confused. I thought you're a Cali bro, Jay. Either way, how you doing, Jay? Because I'm trying to keep up with people's name changes. But yeah, Jay. But you have to have the Ziploc bags. I'm telling you, that seems to be a very important thing for prepping when you're in these kind of areas. Have your important documents in a Ziploc bag. Even if you have the fire box to hold your paperwork, you need to have the Ziploc bag. Otherwise, these storms are going to ruin some of these important things that you're going to need, especially in this day and time. Think about it. The government probably is going to be shut down temporarily while they get things in order. Jamaica's not very automated. If you have your passport, your birth certificate, your ID, your land titles, and all of these important documents, they need to be protected. You need to have them where that you can have the proof in case their things go missing. And yes, I've seen that happen to people. It goes missing all of a sudden, and then you have to show them the proof, the document, the stamp, the seals, the this, the that, the third. So keep your stuffs in the proper your seeds, your gardening seeds. I have mine in a case, that same case that you guys use. Is it waterproof? I'm not too sure, but I can get one of those extra large Ziploc bags that we put clothes in and just put it in there. I got things in totes, but totes are not always waterproof, so you got to seal up everything in the bags, in the tote, because it's not worth it when things get water damage. It happened to me already, and it's just the toilet paper almost got damaged, but because it was wrapped up in the plastic, it didn't get damaged. Paper towel was okay. It was just the laundry soap that I had in the box, and thank God it didn't damage the whole box, just the bottom half. I just got rid of that part, and never happening again. 5-gallon buckets, 3-gallon buckets, Ziploc bags. Don't waste your money on buying these things and then you don't have things to keep it longer, because water goes wherever it's not supposed to. Once it starts flowing, it diverts and tries to find new paths to open up. So you think you have things waterproof? It's not waterproof unless you have a dam or some kind of something to really direct the water away from your house. Mm-mm. People that next door, their garages were flooded. Mine was semi flooded, but all of my stuff in my garage are on skids. So at least I have about 4 inches before it does anything. And now I've moved most of the stuff in the garage. It's a hot mess again. I'm trying to clean it even for the last 4 years, but everything's being put into totes on shelves and stuff so that if something happens, it won't damage my stuff. Especially, I have the chicken feed in the garage in the metal trash cans, but I did have the bottom must have got some water on it. So the whole bottom part, I had to just throw out that food because you can't give your animals that. But I put them on a higher skid, so it should be okay. Don't put things on the ground. Even if you have a sealed stuff, don't do it. It's not worth it. Yeah, weevils can in glass and yes, air quotes. It helps. I know we've done Bailey's for most of my childhood and adult life, and it has helped, especially when you seal it properly. There's no air going in and out, no moisture. Some people put cloves in stuff too. That also helps with the smell, and it keeps the weevils and bugs away. It seems to work. but you have to just check on things regularly, make sure they're good, and seal it back. I haven't had any weevils. Sometimes they come in like the peas and the beans, but now that I understand, like, diatomaceous earth, I'm just stirring it in with those things. I stir it in, seal it in the bucket. You put your bay leaf same way your clove, and if anything, that will kill them off. And then you wash your beans before you use them, anyways, and soak them. So you'll see if there's any holes or any weird stuff going on, and then you'll throw them out. But weevils are they're not hard to prevent. You have to just put the effort in. And I've been canning. I'm supposed to be canning right now, but I had to do something which delayed me. So then I ended up said, okay, I'll just go live. I'll go live instead because I'm already delayed. But I'm supposed to be canning Swiss chard today. Um, Everything in the garden is being canned for the most part. There's very little that has not been either canned, used, or put in the freezer. But the freezer is the last resort because it's full already, and I want to use it for meat. I don't want to use the freezer for greens. So that's why I'm just canning everything. And even that in Jamaica, I don't think people do that. They buy canned goods. I'm trying to figure out how this can be, these skills can be over there where people are canning their own food. I know people pickle, people salt, they make their salt meat. My uncle used to smoke meat in the smoking room, same outdoor kitchen. But I think some of these skills would be good. Like people can grow food and can it. But the culture is so different now because everything is like import, import, import. The people who do grow food, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they even would do that. Like everything is just like you grow it, you eat it fresh, or you freeze it. But there's not really that preservation where they would preserve their own food. They always buy it from overseas. Um, there was a whole scandal. People like were complaining because I think there's a company in Jamaica now that's selling canned like curry goat or something like canned meat. But there's nothing wrong with that. People don't understand that even over here, people are canning their chicken. You can curry the chicken and can it. You can jerk it, whatever you want, season it how you want, and then can it. And it can have an excellent shelf life. And you just warm it up when you want the food. That would be a good thing. And that's what they're trying to bring in there. But people kind of like, everything should be fresh, fresh. It's not always in your best interest when you're trying to store food for the long term. Because if people had some of those things, even if the cans got wet, the contents would still be okay. So all they had to do was just, put them in a cool, dry place, maybe get some toast if they can afford it, and store these canned goods in a way that they can use when these emergencies happen, which happen more often than we realize. There's storms, even not category 5, but just other storms and mudslides in particular areas in Jamaica. And this is not an uncommon thing. It's just the magnitude of this one has never happened before, but they still have to live with preparedness in mind. And I don't think that's a skill that's been emphasized in this day and age down there. I haven't heard of anybody canning. Maybe they water bath can, maybe those kind of things, fruits and jams and stuff. I know that, but in terms of like the pressure canning with the greens and the meats and the beans, I don't know if I've never heard of anybody talking about that. I don't know. Hiding your food as there will be. Yep. That's why even sending barrels right now could be a concern because people, oh, they got a barrel, they got a barrel. Catches for resupply, even a can of food in a tree, and nobody looks in the tree. Yeah, you gotta. So I'm hoping that the people can get their animals back together and if they have a couple, there's a couple that they said that they are missing 2, so maybe they ran to the hills and they'll come back down. The chickens is a big loss for people because you have to remember these communities usually feed themselves. Like everything is bought very local and very close by, and if they're not up and running, there's no food to provide for the community. It's a big impact. It's not like here where you just go to the big box stores. Some places are so remote that you rely on local vendors to get your supplies from, and you buy your chickens and your meat fresh. You buy your fish from the fishermen, and maybe they goes to town frozen and they sell them, but it's very local. And if they are basically totally demolished and have no animals to even say, okay, we can start rebreeding and hatching out new eggs, it's nearly impossible right now. Never mind the mental strain on people. Try to be smarter than the hungry. Yep. And people are hungry and people are desperate. It's a very dangerous situation. And people can't communicate with their family. People within Jamaica can't even find their other relatives in other areas because there's no phone contact. People are on the news saying, hi, if so and so watches, if you know so and so, let them know I'm okay. Like, if anyone sees this broadcast, I'm okay. Because they can't, there's no power. We've been talking about that for a long time, people over here to prep, but they literally have no power. There's no backup. There's no satellite. As I said to you, the Maroons have the Starlink, which is the only reason why they can communicate, because they have to live separate from the whatchamacallit, the constituents of Jamaica, because they don't get support. They're indigenous and then they have to live separate. The government does not support them. Some things they will, but they have to fight for everything because they feel that they shouldn't have to support them. But at the same time, there wouldn't be Jamaica without them. So there's a bit of a battle back and forth with the government and what they're supposed to do and who they're supposed to do it for. Yeah. But anyways, thanks for listening. Just keep prepping your own stuff. Take a note. I'm going to be taking notes of what's happening down there and what things that they're asking for, because maybe I didn't think of those things even for my own preps. It's November the 1st, so probably a good time to check your water and restock if you need some more water and any general canned and dry goods. I know over here we're having some good sales. They're okay. Some of them are good, but like canned tuna, canned sardines are, taking a revamp, and I'm eating them too sometimes. I'm like, you cook them up with some rice and whatever you're good. Canned tomatoes, pasta sauces, bags of pasta, dry pasta. Go through your pantry, try to restock on a few things, and use some of the older stuff and swap in the new stuff, and make sure you have what you need while they're on sale. Also, don't forget to donate to your local charities. We donate to the local food bank when you can, because you have to always have a heart of giving. The moment you get selfish, it's very dangerous. So it's very easy to say, screw everybody else. We got our own problems, here. You're right. But always have a heart of giving. Anything. Hey, morning, Gina. Something is better than nothing. If everyone puts in a little bit, it's a less burden. So stock up your pantry, stock up your stuff. I'm canning left and right this weekend. All my greens are going to be canned. We're not wasting nothing. I'm not giving away as much, not because I can't, but because, Gina, you're growing with purpose, and I'm canning everything left and right. And we're going to be eating those for the winter months, so I don't have to buy frozen veg. But yeah, take this time to revamp what you're doing. I know in the States there's a lot of crap going on with the EBT and the food stamps, and people are getting upset, because some people are acting entitled, like, they're entitled to the support. Some people are saying that, some of these people are veterans. They don't have enough to support, which is showing a deeper problem. How do you have veterans that can't afford to eat? That is a big problem. They shouldn't even need EBT. They should be having enough to sustain them, enough income. So maybe they should be paying them a living wage and not this where they can't support their family. There's deeper problems that are being exposed, but ultimately people are getting desperate. And they're going to be, I saw one lady, I don't know if you guys saw this. I saw it on Instagram. Maybe it was YouTube. She was going to her car with a trolley full of meat, and this lady took the trolley from her and started throwing the meat in her own trunk and stole her groceries. And she's trying to like, stop. Let me tell you something. If you come for my trolley, you're gonna meet my fist, left fist, right knee, left knee, right foot and left foot, and then I have an axe in my car, allegedly. You're gonna be getting it from all angles. Because if I have a trolley full of groceries and you're just gonna come and take them, as I said, I don't fight over food. I'm not gonna fight. You might win me, but I'm gonna give you some 2 good knocks, a conk in the head, allegedly, and you're gonna be remembering what happened. You're not gonna just walk off and say, oh, stole the food. Why the hell are you buying so much meat, walking to your car by yourself, and you must be mad. You got to know how to shop. You got to shop with a buddy if you're going to be buying them expensive things, because that don't make no sense. But that's what it's coming to. And we already saw last year in the States that people were following people home when they left the grocery store. Maybe it's not going into the news like it used to because they got bigger fish to fry, but you need to be not doing that. People are watching what you're doing. That's why you need to stock up and just stock up little bit at a time, and don't make it obvious, because these people are watching you and they don't have no food stamps, and they feel say they should be eating filet mignon and all them stuff. It's not canned tuna and corned beef. They want filet mignon. And they are brazen about the stealing. They actually believe that they're not stealing, that they're entitled to this stuff. There's a mental disconnect in some people's head. Just be careful in these streets, guys. I'm gonna go and get to Costco's at some point, and then I gotta go deal with some of these tenants. Let me tell you some stories, but I gotta tell you in the future because some of them are still in the battle right now, and some of them are in court right now. But I'll tell you those stories later. These people are wicked. But keep your head up, keep focused, don't get distracted with all the back and forth, and keep stocking up. Pray for Jamaica. Keep them in your thoughts and prayers. If you have a local charity that's actually helping over there, I know some of the government sites will take donations from around the globe. I think you get a tax receipt with some of them. Just, $5, 10, anything you have, donate. But just be mindful about dropping off stuff to ship to Jamaica with these groups. I don't see that they've always reached the people that need them. So find a legitimate grassroots company. Help your own people, your own local food banks. Make sure you're donating. There's homeless people in your community. There's women in shelters and children. Forget about the holidays. Make it a regular part of your lifestyle. Every month you give a certain amount so that people have food to eat, because you don't. This is the thing about it. You could say, screw them, serves them right, whatever. You could say that. But the more you help and help people eat, the less people you have jumping you in the parking lot for your groceries. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, I know it's like, oh, screw them, they're on their own. But it's better off you help them, because you're actually helping yourself and you're helping your community. But if you have people desperate, you're going to make yourself a target. So it's easier, when I'm thinking about it, that you just help out a little bit while you're helping yourself and storing away and packing away, so that you're not going to become a target, or your society's not going to be run down with desperate people. Everywhere I go, I'm seeing tents parked in certain parts in the community of people living in tents. In my own neighborhood, there's about 2 newer tents that have found a spot to pitch, and they're living in that tent. It's getting very volatile. So use your head, keep your head on swivel, but stock up. Have a blessed day. God bless. I'll see you hopefully next week. I'm working on getting the edits done for the videos, but I'm having an issue with the storage. It's full. Got to go buy another one. So I'll be uploading some videos soon, and I'll see you guys a little later. And hello, Susan. Thanks for popping in. Okay. Take care. Hit the thumbs up button, guys. It helps the channel. Bye.